Hello and welcome to Born to Race Turbo Cup round number 9 for 2023. Tonight we're at Aston Cup. I'm Peter Butcher, I'm subbing in for Zdenek Sagash today, and joining me in the commentary box it's Miika Sarkinen for this third round of the Born to Race Turbo Cup that we're broadcasting here on Sim Broadcasts this year. Miika, how do you feel about
that? Very excited as usual. These races we have broadcast here have turned out to be quite exciting ones, so looking forward to this one as well.
Yep, certainly I am too. This is the first time I've commentated actually on this series, so that's exciting as well. Let's have a look then at the track we're going to be running tonight. It is Aston Cup, an open configuration version around Aston. It's 4.2 kilometers, 2.6 miles in length. And tonight we're going to have a 30 lap race, I believe, not 48, but yes, 30 laps with a mandatory pit stop. Which is going to be pretty great, I think, around here. Let's have a look then at how the classes have been updated. We have no air intake restriction on the XRT this week, no air intake restriction on the RB4 as usual, but a lot of changes to the FXO, 3% air intake plus 50 kilograms. Now, Miika, we have currently 3 cars on grid who have qualified with the FXO, so clearly that's not putting everybody off.
Yeah, it is still a competitive car for sure, but only time can tell in the long run which is going to be the best one for this track.
Yeah, well, we will find out. Currently, it's an RB4 leading in qualifying. We will go through those results as soon as we can. Let's look at the schedule then. We've been to Aston National, we've been to South City Chicane Route, and we're back at Aston for the Cup configuration with a bunch of rounds left this year. We're very grateful to be running the Born to Race Turbo Cup here on our channel. And we can also bring to you the current standings in the team's championship, which currently looks like this. We have Born to Race leading their own championship, Miika, with 358 points ahead of Yes Motorsport. Yeah, they're doing pretty well, aren't they?
Well, doing pretty good in their own league. But Yes and Cyrus, they both reached over 100 points, which is quite a good one for them as well. So definitely interesting top 3 here.
Yeah, definitely. Let's take a look then at the Drivers' Championship standings. We've got a lot of cars on this list, but we have Vitasis Lagutskas leading the way with 173 points, miles ahead of Born to Race Mantas. Then it's Donny, Dennis, Magic, Twincam, Yarikatilla, RD2, Firestarter, and Botsy, the top 10. I think, Miika, that we can actually get a grab of the qualifying that has just run on the server, and we can have a quick look at that as well to see how the grid will line up for the start of this race. And it's going to be an RB4 on pole. It's Vitasis Lagutskas who will line up ahead of second place in the championship, Mantas. Then it's Kaike Paroppo in P3 with Twincam, Unite, Adam, Nozzle, Soini, Storm, and 136 miles per hour rounding out the top 10. Then we've got Magic, Gritch, RD2, Yarikatilla, Yasin, Stiefler, Rocket, Kirku87, T-Bug, and Upsas, the top 20. And then just a couple of cars on the second page of results to start this one. 22 cars, Iron Donny and SMT. So all of these drivers, bar one, have made it inside the 107% cutoff. Donny will be a bit disappointed. What's he going to do in the race? He's got a lot to do there, Owen. Sorry, Miika?
Yeah, he definitely does. He's usually one of the faster drivers, but he's on the bottom right now, so I expect him to climb up quite a few places on the race.
Yeah, well, we certainly hope so. It is one-shot quali, remember, so that's probably where some of the drivers have potentially not had their best qualifying effort. And yeah, we are only a few moments away then from the start of the race. Miika, what can we expect going down into turn 1 with all these cars today?
Well, we can accept quite a lot. It's quite tight braking. It's right-hander, almost 108 degrees, but it's a very wide corner, so you can definitely see cars going side to side.
Yeah, we will indeed. We wait in anticipation as these drivers get ready in the background. We've got a lot to look forward to. This race will be roughly 1 hour long, so we have plenty of racing action to come. The drivers have to make one pit stop during the race at some point, so without any further ado, we are going to get going for the start of this one. So the drivers are on the grid, Miika, and we already have the lights. Take it away.
We get a nice colorful grid. Lagoskas takes very good start from the P1. Mandas on the second place gets a little bit dragged away, and that opens up a gap for Piropo and Twincam that enter the battle. Lagoskas seems to have quite a good lead here. He shouldn't be dreaded on the first corner, but we will see who will end up in the second place, which will be Mandas. Seems like he can hold on to his second place, even though he got a little poor start here.
Yeah, well, the Gutskas has had a dream start. He's already way through, almost at the end of the first sector already, and we have an RB4 leading from an XRT from an RB4, and then our first FXO is Unite, who's losing a bit of traction down there in P5 as we enter the hairpins for the first time, and then the corkscrew, that ominous corkscrew that we are going to see the cars fly up in just a second's time. Yeah, this is going to be cool.
Yeah, this is also one of the places where you see often cars flying off the track. It's very tricky to keep it inside the lines and not to lose a lot of grip. But we seem to be all clear through it, and no victims for now yet.
Yeah, no victims as yet. And, well, here we go through the chicane section, which is unique to the Aston Cup configuration. It's quite tricky. There is no runoff on the outside here, except just some grass. There's no curbing, but everyone seems to be through there pretty safely so far as we follow just the rest of the field through. We have got a bit of bunching at the back here. We're watching RD2, who could have a pounce on a bunch of cars ahead. We've got Donny making big gains. He's climbed a bunch of positions. He's up to P15. As we head down into the final corner to complete lap number 1. Here comes the Gutskas onto the home straight then with a bit of a lead over Mantas and Twincam, the Born to Race duo.
Yeah, that's a solid start from the top 3. Of course, I think there was Piropo starting from P3. He's dropped down behind Twincam. But it's a solid first lap.
Yeah, this is a long race, don't get me wrong. We have plenty of action left to come here today. And, yep, we have almost a side-by-side battle through turn 1. The XRT is strong on the straights, isn't it, Miika? We're going to have some drivers getting opportunistic into there, I'm sure.
Yeah, I can believe so. Of course, the cars are a little different with their nuances where they work at their best. So that'll bring a nice little difference on like where people can go and for the overtakes and such.
Yeah, well, here we go. Twincam's also looking racy in his RB4 as well. He's got no air intake restriction on that, but he is also chasing an XRT that also has no restriction. So it's advantage to the XRT overall, we think. But it looks like the RB4s have got everything sorted out. Adam certainly on a move here. And now going for a move straight away on the inside of Piropo just before the second sector line there, Miika.
Yeah, that's a brilliant move. It's right-hander which tightens quite a bit there, so it's a very nice move to make it pass right on that corner.
Yeah, for sure. Adam moves up to P4 as we head through the chicane for the second time of 30 this afternoon, and it's getting close at the back as well. Storm's made up a few places. He's up to P9. He's fighting quite heavily with Neva, who pushes him wide. Neva started a little bit further down than maybe he would have wanted to, but already up to P9 then, and making up ground. Was unlucky yesterday in the RTFR race, and well, let's see if he can kind of reconcile his position today. We've got Nozzle side by side out of the final corner with, I believe, Unite.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised seeing Neva on 9th place already. If I recall correctly, he messed up his quali lap, and I don't know if he even got a time on the board, so he might have started on like very bottom, but he's already rushing through the fields so well.
Yeah, we are onto the third lap, and the Gutskas has a healthy margin, almost a second over Mantas then. And the top 3 are pulling away. Adams managed to get past Kaike Propo on the previous lap. That does release him to try and close up to the top 3. But you'd probably favour the top 3 to run away at this point because, well, Adam, he's been out of it for a while. He hasn't been as active as he once was, and the top 3, they have momentum, so they're going to run away. Nozzle then heads up through the corkscrew with Nico Pantola Unite glued to the rear end of his car, and look who's joined him. Magic in an RB4 also joins the party, so 3 cars representing, and Magic's is he gonna go for a sniff?
He's looking for it for sure. We can see Unite has dropped, he was a P5 before, so he's dropped 2 places already with the FXO, and yet Magic is still challenging him already, so the FXO might still not be the car to go on this race.
Yeah, Marcel Neva.
Unit
Look at him, he's gained.
Manage.
Marcel Neva comes into the final corner, and well, he's managed to catch up to this pack pretty quickly. And apologies for interrupting you there, Miika. We are on to lap number 4. What can Neva do here? He's not quite close enough for the slipstream, is he?
It doesn't seem like he's up there yet, but he can definitely build up during this lap. He's a very fast driver, so I can expect him to make passes quite soon. Even though he's running the same car as Magic just in front of him.
Yeah, well, we know how fast Neva can be on his day, and he's already caught up to the back of Magic. And will he go for a move here? Yes, he will. He's not wasting any time, is he? He really wants to get a move on. We said this yesterday, though, after he dropped down the order. Instead of actually climbing the order, I think he actually retired. So today he's going to switch that around, and he's already up to P8. And we're going to have a nice curb cam shot there of the cars going through turn number 3. Turn 3. And then up into the corkscrew we go. Full stuff. The car's getting a little bit airborne actually there on the entrance to that one. But yeah, a number of cars enjoying the top of the corkscrew. The TBO's a little bit more planted than, say, some of the lighter cars that tend to get a little bit more airborne through there, but still entertaining to watch as Neva closes up to the back of Unite then. And, well, I assume he's probably going to make quite quick work because that gap has come down considerably in the last few turns.
Yeah, you can just see him catching up like in front of your eyes, and Unite actually goes wide, which opens up the place for Neva to go side to side, and he's through already. Neva is so strong driver here. He has no trouble managing these overtakes on the slower drivers, even though Unite isn't all that slow, to be honest.
Well, our race leader begins lap number 5 here, getting ahead of myself, and it's Mantas who has been caught up by his teammate Twincam. And will Twincam decide to go for a move here? It's very, very close going down into turn 1. It looks as though they're going to hold position as we have another car in the pit lane. Unite decides to take this opportunity to make his mandatory pit stop. T-Bug has also been through the pit lane, has got a drive-through, and has now retired. So a very quick end to his race after just 4 laps for him. And well, was that Mantas going defensive there, Miika, or is he just getting
Mantas
a bit?
Seems to be going defensive since turn 1, so they're actually battling here for a bit.
Well, that's good to see.
Would have the upper hand with the 4-wheel drive here and at the early stage of the race, but we'll see how this actually goes. I don't know why Mantas will defend too much, because then they end up both losing time if Twincam is so much faster, but yeah, that allows Lagutskis to pull up a little bit of gap.
Yeah, well, that was a nice move, and well, it's evident then that the Born to Race team will favour Twincam at the moment to try and catch up to Lagutskas. The gap up to almost 2 seconds after, well, not a lot of time at all, really, but here we go. It looks like Magic is consolidating P8 quite firmly there, because there's no one around him, and it's Marcel Neva who is now caught up to the back of Nozzle, goes off the track. This is an interesting strategy. I feel like he should give that back, and he does.
Yeah, Nozzle was going wide himself,
yeah, he has.
and Neva was outside, but That's a gentleman move, not to take that place when you go off the track.
Well, I don't think Neva's going to waste any time to take it back, Miika, even though he has given it to him. He's already all over the back of the XRT ahead of him. And, well, takes the slipstream up the start-finish straight, cross-start-finish. We go. And, well, the gap actually between Neva and our race leader is now 10 seconds, 10.5 seconds as we get the update. So he's losing a lot of time if he wants to make any gains. That is the issue, I guess, with one-shot qualifying. If you don't nail it on your one lap, then you do have to spend quite a lot of time building up your race and climbing the order. But there we go, round the outside goes Marcelo Neva. Can he stick it on the entrance to turn 2? Let's see. Yeah, he has that covered nicely, and I don't think that XRT is going to have any response on the exit of that corner, and no, it does not indeed. So Marcel Neva finds himself up in P6. A nice recovery so far from the Furia driver. Further back, we have a battle between Jari Kitila and 136 miles an hour, who is running in that, is that a Born to Race RTFR livery? Yes, it is. There we go.
What an interesting mix-up for the livery here. We get place for in this SMD going for Tiefla, looking very hungry for that next place, but can't quite make a move stick out here.
Yeah, this is Stiefler. Actually, he's gone from defending immediately to attacking. He's going to be catching up to Gritch, and these guys really have bunched up. You're right. As we have a move being made, that's Gritch being passed then by Stiefler into the second chicane. First chicane, as we head off down to the final complex of corners. Stiefler finds himself up into P12. And will now try and catch up to the back of Jari Kitila. Here we go into the final corner. A big send going on there from Gritch. Is it going to get ugly? No. Stiefler notices that there's a send going on, and so does Jari, actually. Jari got out of the way quite quickly, and SMT has a nice exit. Will he have a run on all of these guys? Wait and see. It's going to be 3 wide across start-finish.
Yeah, SMT seems to have a pretty good exit, and it's going to be very close to the first corner here. Oh, it's gonna be all about the braking. Steve fell just a bit behind of them, but it's gonna be clean, hard braking here. But it's gonna be SMT taking place. Oh no! Which actually spins around. There was light contact here.
Well, I wouldn't say it was light. It was a slam dunk. He's been mugged there, but anyway, 4 cars into the space of 1 just doesn't work, and Gritch is the unlucky victim there. Lagutskas is extending his lead. It's almost 3 seconds over the chasing Born to Race duo of Mantas, who has taken back the lead, or rather, he took the lead of this pairing. Before I think I got them mixed around beforehand. Actually, I think I mistook the order that these guys were in. Twincam driving the RB4 and Mantas driving his XRT, and Adam actually is he catching, or is this gap held solid? I don't think it's moved that much, but anyway, Adam is in P4 trying to get back onto the podium. Has to pray really for a mistake from those top guys. It's Kaike Paroppo for Energy Virtual Racing in P5, driving in his RB4. Then we've got Marcelo Neva driving for Furio. He's in P6. He's gained a few places at the beginning of this race, and he would very much fancy a top 5 here. I think he's got it in him, because he is closing in on Kaike Paroppo. His gap to the leader has gone up ever so slightly, but not really in comparison to some of the other drivers around him. It's a long race, Miika. I reckon Neva has a shot at a podium here. Yeah,
he definitely does. As you said, it's a long race. We got this 1 mandatory pit stop and everything, so anything can play out. It's all about just how he can keep up the pace through the whole race and not just on the early rush.
Yeah, for sure. We've got Nozzle for Race Green in P7, his teammate Magic behind in P8 currently, and then another couple of Born to Race drivers, Storm and 136 miles per hour. We need to look, though, at this fight, because Unite looking to make a move on Jari Kitila, Sidus versus World Class Lions. Unite is going to be on the unfavourable outside line, and he has an FXO which has 3% restriction and an extra 30 kilogram sandbag. As we lose Marcelo Neva. I don't think I jinxed it. I think he's dropped out. I don't know if he's lost connection or what's happened there, but he is gone. He's spectated and then left. So another DNF for Marcelo Neva. What looked like a promising drive has ended in retirement. He has left, and that has promoted everyone below him. So Kaike can breathe a little bit and start to focus again on the back of Adam as we resume this fight into the corkscrew. Jari Katila, Unite, and Stiefler.
Yeah, it's still a tight battle going on, but yeah, clean is taken B. Unite's still going inside Jari Katila, and this time he makes it stick and actually turns out ahead.
Yeah, but Stiefler has been compromised, and that's Donny, who's come all the way from the back pretty much up to P13 now. He takes over the place from Stiefler, who was being far, far too patient with the cars ahead of him, bunching up. And Donny, well, he's already on the back of Jari Katila. Unite's checked out. There he goes off the right of shot, and we're left with Donny battling with Jari down into the final corner as our race leaders are approaching the start-finish line to begin lap 10 here at Aston Cup. In fact, sorry, they are starting lap 9. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Jari into the pit lane. Let's watch a pit stop here, Miika, and see what he does.
I expect it to be a very quick stop, but you never know. He chooses to... Yeah, it's just a quick stop, just a sort of the mandatory stop. And fastest pit stop so far, so shouldn't be too much for him.
Yeah, something to note, which I didn't actually realise, is that Unite must have pitted extremely early because he was already he'd already done a pit stop, and when he was fighting with Jari Katila, Jari decided to come in, but Unite was already a pit stop ahead of him. So that explains the pace on Unite. He is currently the highest placed car who has done a pit stop, so he can basically settle into a rhythm to the end of this race. He is going to be closing up to the back of SMT. But drivers behind him who we won't have to worry about are Stiefler, Rocket, and Gritch, who are yet to stop, who are lower than P11. Donny's also been in. That shouldn't really also be a surprise because he's normally on pace with Unite. He just had a compromised qualifying session. He finds himself in P12 at the moment, Miika, and we can expect these two to be quite close together towards the end. They tend to be there or thereabouts in RTFR.
Yeah, they do have a similar pace on like many occasions, and they seem to have it today as well.
Yep, as we see the rest of the cars coming past start-finish, and yeah, we are now 10 laps in. We will be a third of the way through this race at the end of this lap, as we have a battle brewing between RD2 and Friends United Rocket coming up to the final sector. In fact, they're already in the final sector, the final corner, I mean. And yeah, let's get a look at these guys as they go into this final corner complex. RD2, insanely talented in the RB4, but chooses to drive the XRT today, Miika.
Yeah, might just want to go for a little different this time. Seems to be doing okay. I don't think he's bothered too much by his car selection.
No, I mean I don't see that he would be. He seems to be doing pretty well, P15, and we're down to 19 cars, so he's still well in with a shout and well in with a chance of getting some decent points. Lagutskast, meanwhile, has opened up his gap to 3.3 seconds, a colossal gap over Mantas, who himself has opened up the gap to his teammate by about a second and a half. There is Twincam just appearing in the shot, and slowly but surely, Adam is chipping away at Twincam. I think we're going to see something here, Miika. I don't want to jinx it, but I think we're going to see something. The gap is down to less than 4 seconds now. Let's see what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. No, not jinxing it, but Adam does have a shot for the podium. But we will have to wait and see for that.
We will indeed. Adam there, driving for TC Racing. You don't see too many of those drivers from that team anymore, unfortunately. Myself being one of them, of course. But always nice to see TC Racing being represented. Brings back some nice memories, it has to be said. Adam doing the work there. But let's see if he can manage to get a podium out of this. He's lost a bit of time, 4.5 seconds now, the gap. We'll leave him to it for a bit. Kaike Piroppo, this is a driver who hasn't been around particularly much recently, but is a name definitely from the past. I remember commentating on and being in a few endurance races with Kaike Piroppo. Very talented, and of course, Energy Virtual Racing, a very talented team of drivers. Let's return to the RD2 rocket battle, because that's what's going on here. Yeah.
This is a close one. RD2 looking furiously for the overtake possibility. And Rocket actually makes a mistake on the exit, which makes him go slow on the straight, and Rocket has made it past for now. But of course we have the turn 1 coming up, and anything can happen, as we have seen before here.
Yeah, RD2 getting the place there, and we will see, will Rocket keep that nose on the inside? No, there is no overlap anymore. He's going to have to go very late on the brakes. Yeah, he's backed out of that one. And RD2 after... Oh, actually, RD2's gone wide, but he's got the place covered on the exit. So that battle will be done for now. But the driver that could affect that would be Stiefler, driving the RB4 just up ahead. This nice dark green RB4. We haven't I don't think we've mentioned it this season so far. I don't know if Zdenek mentioned it, but the remodeled RB4 is definitely something that I like, of course. It got a bit of a remodel after the mods update came out. Eric has given the interior especially a bit of a bit of a facelift. There are a few more pixels in there for us to enjoy, but also a remodeled shape. The car looks a lot more modern, and it's a touch up. It's not a completely new car. It's a refresh. It's a modernization of an old classic, as RD2 gets pretty close.
Yeah, it's a nice little touch up indeed, and well, haven't driven RB4 too much myself, but definitely nice to see it evolving just a little bit. And RD2 is very hot on the heels of Stiefler, who is going wide on the exit and just a little bit on the grass. Can RD2 make anything out of it? Yes, he's going to be satisfied, and he has the advantage on the braking already on the last corner, but he's making very wide line. But can he stick it still on the start-finish line? Yes, he can, and Stiefler seems to have a little bit less power out of that corner.
Yeah, well, RD2 is not hanging around, is he? He's making quick work of everybody. He's just outgunning an RB4 down the home straight currently. We'll see if Stiefler can catch up, but I don't think it's going to be the case. The RB4, without any restriction, is always going to be quicker than the RB4 on a straight. We have SMT and Unite side by side exiting turn 1 as we head through down into turn 2. And, well, Unite on the outside, and he's going to try and hold it, but they're going to get quite close. SMT's pushing him a little bit wide, gives him the space, but Unite, a brilliant move around the outside there. Fantastic stuff. And, well, SMT will feel a little bit silly after that one.
Yeah, that's almost as close as they can go without making a contact. And happy to see no one spinning out. And it's a clean overtake and very nice move.
Yeah, indeed, it was a nice move as we run on board with SMT. You can see how light the car gets at the top of the corkscrew. The driver's really struggling with mechanical grip there as the car loses all of its grip. And Unite's already closed up to the back of 136, driving that RTFR Born to Race collab livery. And this won't be too long at all. Unite is really relishing the opportunity to drive the FXO today. A tricky car to drive all round. The TBOs generally are, but the FXO is probably the most difficult to drive for a long time. It really eats through those front tyres and becomes fairly tricky in longer races, which I'm pretty sure I would classify Born to Race Turbo Cup length races as getting into that tricky spot by the time you're 15 laps deep into a 30-lap race. Let's see if he can manage it on the straight, Miika.
Yeah, you surely can get in trouble with front tires on the FXO, but of course your driving style matters quite a bit, and can make it just next to 136, and he's already passed on the straight. 136 trying to hang on, and he will look for a spot on the outside. they come close, but keeps it ahead. Even though 126 is still very hungry, looking for revenge.
Yeah, he is indeed. 136 will then chase down as we ride on board then with Storm, who appears to also be completely on his own. He does have that pairing behind him catching up, but it is 136 miles per hour who will be thinking about what just happened. How did Unite manage to get past? Can he get back past again at some point? But I think actually what he needs to do is focus behind now and try and consolidate P10. Let's get an update on the number of stops that have happened as well. There you can see that Unite is by far and away the highest placed driver who has already made a stop. 136 will be a bit upset that he hasn't pitted yet and seeing one of the drivers who has get past. Donny also has dropped back down. He's a fair way back now behind Unite. So that shows you either that Donny's made an error or his pace just isn't there. In fact, I don't think his pace is quite there, Miika. I think he's just lost a bit of time.
Yeah, the gap has been like building over and over since the pit stop, so it very much seems like just his pace not being quite high as he would hope.
We don't have too many world-class Lions drivers showing their head in the field, but we also see them quite a way down. We've got Teemu Soini, the highest placed world-class Lions driver, currently in P17, but Jari and Soini have both pitted, so that might play into their hands later on. We'll see where they come out in the relation to Stiefler, Rocket, and Gritch, and some others ahead of them. But at the moment, they're running quite quietly at the back. As we look then to the front, as the Gutskas is having a very, very, very quiet race. He's got a 4.1 second lead over Mantas, who's opened up the gap to his teammate by 4 seconds as well. And Adam, well, he's keeping us on the edge of the sleep. This gap is coming down extremely slowly, but it's trending in the right direction, Miika.
Yeah, as long as it's going this direction, it's always good. But definitely he needs to put some more pressure, so he won't run out of time. We're almost halfway through the race already, so it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, one of the closest battles for actual position on the track that we've got is this one between Stiefler and Rocket. Stiefler in the green XRT and Rocket driving the XRT in that classic Friends United livery, which I assume was made in paint. Looking at it, but at least it's memorable. As he goes to the inside, briefly, Stiefler has a decent enough exit as we head over the Sector 2 line. Twincam from P3 has picked himself up a drive-through penalty in the pit lane. That's going to cost him in his fight with Adam, we think. That's a big error.
Yeah, that's way too big error to make at that position. That's going to open up the possibility for Adam. And it should be a guaranteed podium for him, just considering he can keep it up as he has done so far.
Yeah, he absolutely needs to be careful because we'll have. Adam needs to be careful in the pit lane. He doesn't want to do the same thing because he has a pretty sure shot at that podium, as you mentioned. As Stiefler comes into the pit lane just off shot and will guide his car into an early pit box. Nice and gently, no such issues on pit entry. Just needs to keep the car under the speed limit on the way out. If you're just joining us, welcome. You are watching Sim Broadcasts on Twitch and YouTube. We are currently watching the Born to Race Turbo Cup, round 9 of Season 1. We have a battle at the back between Jari and Kirku developing, so Jari has decided to turn it up a notch.
Yeah, he's not settling for the last place, and he's already going inside Cook, and that's a brave one, but Cook actually went very wide, so it's a reasonable overtake. Cook is watching if he can make any kind of a revenge attack here, but seems to go Jari's way this time.
made quick work of Kirku and resumes on his way. But there we go. Lugutskas, fastest lap, 3.8 seconds of a lead over Mantas. I kind of feel sorry for him. I feel as though he was expecting probably a little bit more competition out of the front there, but it's early days still. We're just over the halfway mark now as the drivers round turn number 1. On your screen there, you can see that there is a Twitch handle above Mantas's name, and that's because he is currently subscribed to our Twitch channel. If you want to get that little perk inside Live for Speed on our broadcasts, then you can find out more information at simbroadcasts.tv/supporters. If you're live during one of our broadcasts and you're streaming your onboard, you'll get a little red dot on that icon as well to show others that you are live. So if you want to support us, you can by going to that link and finding out all the ways that you can support our channel. Thank you very much for watching. Miika, we are, all the cars are a little bit spread out now, but the strategy is going to start coming into play because the drivers, some of them are going to start to pit maybe halfway. We do tend to see that quite a few drivers tend to pit halfway through races.
Yeah, that's a very common strategy to see. It opens up like possibilities. You can fluctuate it a bit. Like if you make mistakes, you can just make it a bit earlier, or if you feel still going good, you can make the stop later. So the halfway point is a very good benchmark where to start adjusting your strategy. But we're only gonna see after the pit starts come rolling out if there's gonna be any difference on the paces what the drivers will have, and if the momentum will start shifting on someone else's favor rather than the other.
Unite is making up ground. He's gained over half a second on the back of Storm this lap alone. So let's keep an eye on this and see just how quickly Unite can catch up and probably pass. That'll be Storm for P8. Twincam is currently the highest placed car now that has pitted, but Twincam has a drive-through. He messed up his pit stop and has a drive-through, so that won't stand for long, I don't think. Depends how much time he loses in the pit lane, but it is apparent then that the top drivers are going to be pretty safe from Unite at this moment in time, unless Unite can do something extra special, Miika, to ramp up the pace considerably over the next few laps.
Yeah, he's kind of been stuck there for now, not like doing any progress with his pace. But we'll have to see where this pace will carry him towards the end of the race.
Miika rejoins from the Magic joins from the pit lane. I thought you were driving for a minute then, Miika. My apologies. As 136 miles per hour comes up behind him in a similarly coloured livery, race green Magic being followed by Born to Race 136 driving an RTFR inspired livery. Very confusing, but there we go. Nice bit of sponsorship on the side of there for the RTFR series, which you can catch on Tuesdays. Most Tuesdays in every single month there are 3 rounds of RTFR in LFS, but we are watching Born to Race in their inaugural Turbo Cup, which has been a fantastic season so far. Miika, you've been privileged to commentate on 3 of them now, and it's definitely a series that has shown real colour so far. We've commentated and broadcasted 2 complete rounds so far, and this will be the 3rd.
Yeah, indeed. It's been a pleasure commentating on this, and I've still yet to make my debut on the series myself, since this is running every week rather than just than this broadcast races that we do. But I've been thinking that in the meantime, when we're not broadcasting this, I might have a go and try myself a little, but still haven't found myself time to do that.
Yeah, you should absolutely do that. I mean, you're a veteran in RTFR. So you drive pretty much every single RTFR race, except XL, of course, where you commentate. But yeah, why not? I mean, this championship, we should mention, of course, does run every single week, even though we're broadcasting just 1 a month. You can join in, as we've got Gritch side by side with Teemu Soini there, and battling quite hard through the first chicane. As we head up to the second chicane now, down to the final set of corners, and it looks like Gritch has made that stick.
Yeah, apparently Gritch has been defensive here.
Yeah.
And so we'll have another go here on the start-finish line, where Gritch had a very bad exit from the last corner. And
Now, don't take this the wrong way.
side.
Don't take this the wrong way. We don't often see Teemu Soini making balls to the wall overtakes. So will it be a world first on the broadcast? That's unfair. We've seen him make overtakes in the past, but it doesn't happen that often. Come on, Soini. He's bailed out of it. Come on, you've got all the support in the world. How long do we give him for this?
He's not very known for being so aggressive and overtaking driver, but he's got something
what he is known
going
for is being
right
the most
now.
gentlemanly driver, Miika.
Exactly.
Sometimes too gentlemanly.
But he's got something going on here. He's cooking a bit. And he's trying to go for it, but he's being so gentle on the throttle line, still giving way to Gritch.
Yeah, we gave him so much airtime that we missed Unite actually making an overtake on Storm. That's happened. That happened quite quickly. I think that took us a little bit by surprise. But Unite is through and passed and up to P7 in what is turning into, touch wood and hopefully not jinxing his performance, one of the better performances for Unite recently. Maybe it's the genuine racing livery that he's got on. I don't know. Anyway, Legutskas is streaks ahead. He is a long way down the road. Of course, he still has to make his pit stop, Miika. But Mantas, to be fair to him, he's still within touching distance. It's only 3.5 seconds. Oh, Soini's made an overtake, Miika, and we missed it.
Just as we missed it. No, we were watching it.
Damn
but
it.
Soini's through.
He's through. He's done it.
I gotta give a clap for him.
Oh,
That's
we can give a clap. Anyway, Soini makes a move on Greach. We missed it. One of the rare opportunities that we get. I'm being unfair. Soini is perfectly capable of overtaking. We just don't see it very often. 136 is also making a move. Let's not miss this one as well. In fact, we've missed it. No, we haven't. There's a battle going on into turn 1, and it's Magic who is battling with him still. These two going at it fairly well, and Magic is, well, he's not going to have this easy, is he? I mean, 136 is still there. He's on the inside, Miika.
Well, this is a very brave spot to go for the overtake, since this is a very tricky corner. It tightens up in the end. But that's a nice move from 136. He kind of made it work, but now he's on the outer line. Magic is still looking for that inside line. And they're going very gentle with each other, just going side to side, closing out the corkscrew, where 136 will be ahead. But Magic might have still a go here afterwards. He can carry speed. A close one.
Yeah, these two making up for the fact that we missed 2 overtakes from the other 2 pairs we were watching. These two swapping positions every other corner at this rate. But yeah, 136 is holding on. This will be costing them time. This is not the fastest way around the racetrack, of course. That car disappearing up ahead is Storm, and remember that he was overtaken by Unite not long ago. So yeah, these guys definitely holding each other up as we return to our lead 2. The gap to the lead has come down to 3.48 seconds. Mantas beginning to turn the screws. Is the XRT coming back to him, Miika? Is that possibly what we're seeing here? What is going to happen at the front of this race? We are running out of laps. We are 2/3 of the way through at the end of this lap.
It's not an uncommon trend that the RB4 will lose a little bit of the performance towards the end, and the other cars will win over the RB4 in the later stage of the race. So it might play into Mantas's hands here, but will it be enough, and how will it turn out after the pit stops when we end up seeing them?
Well, it's gone down by another 0.2 in the first sector. We're going to get an update of how much it's gone down after the second sector. Here we go, across the line he goes, and it's, well, it looks like it's gone up a bit. But anyway, it's ebbing and flowing, and it's trending downwards. Mantas's tyres are actually hotter at this point, which is a little bit of a surprise. Here is Adam, who he's just enjoying himself. Let's have a look at a fight. We've got Twin Cam versus Nozzle. Twin Cam has just gone for that move and has dived through, but Nozzle looks like he's not done and goes for a counter-offensive. Doesn't work out though. There's not really that much of a way through unless you're already alongside going into that kind of complex of corners. It's very difficult to force the driver on the inside on the outside to give you room, because they will be on the inside for the second part of that complex. So that means Twin Cam moves back up and is making up places after that drive-through he picked up when he served his pit stop. In fact, he's still got to do the drive-through. So when's that going to happen? Not now. No, he has given up a lot of time to Nozzle though. Nozzle is gonna punish him for that.
Yeah, Nozzle is not giving up this fight. He's going past Twin Cam again, and yeah, these guys are making it interesting for us once again. Switching back places. Twin Cam looks like he wants to have another go as we close on the first corner, but he's not got close enough. But maybe on the series of corners he can build up and make another move.
Yeah, there'll be plenty of opportunities. Twin Cam has the pace in his car. He just needs to choose the right time to do it, and he can't afford any more mistakes like we just saw out of the final corner. He gave up a lot of time. He gave up time where you don't want to give up time around here on the only long straight, as he goes for another half-hearted attempt into turn 3 and up towards the corkscrew, and these guys are going to be nailed front to rear through here as they go up the hill. Lovely shot there as they disappear over the crest. It's a fun track, this one. We tend to see this track used in rotation servers. So those are servers where drivers vote for the next combination. They tend to use the TBOs and the GTIs. And yet again, Twin Cam is experiencing the track sideways, Miika.
Yeah, he's definitely has the pace, but he seems like he's struggling a bit. Maybe it's just he's trying to make up all the time he's lost with Nozzle here. But Twin Cam, it kind of seems like he's a bit nervous, or the car is nervous under him.
Yeah, his tyres are overheating, and he's pushing quite hard, and it's not going to be helping the situation at all. As we go through the final corner, you can see he's just a little bit wide again, and that compromises his line, and now he's going to go through the pit lane for a second time. He's not going to stop. Well, he almost very much didn't stop. Locked up the tyres, locked up twice on entry, and almost upgraded his drive through to a stop go. But anyway, he's going to drive through the pit lane and get back up to speed. Now, where is Unite? Some way behind. I think Unite will not get past Twin Cam on that occasion. But now it's a flat out race between those two for P6.
Yeah, they're coming very close together, and Unite really has a opportunity here.
Yeah, it's not too much gap between them. As you can see, they are almost in the same shot. So Unite did gain quite a lot of time on the back of Twin Cam. And you've got to say that Unite's probably in a very nice position here. He's got better tyres by the looks of it than Twin Cam. And he's been in a rhythm. Twin Cam has been definitely off rhythm. He's been fighting with Nozzle for a few laps, and has been battling with his tyres for longer than that. So I'd say Unite has a fairly good chance of getting that position if he wants it.
Yeah, he indeed does. But he still just needs to give up his good momentum for a while and close down that gap so he can actually go for the overtake. But yeah, he's had a very solid race on the FXO, I gotta admit. Being on the P7 and possibly going for the P6, that's very impressive.
Yeah, it's decent, also considering that car has restriction and also ballast. It's got 30 kilograms in the passenger seat in true touring car fashion. As we have a 136 miles per hour, he ran wide just before the second sector line, and that's given Donny a whiff that he might have a battle on his hands. Donny trying to get back into the top 10, running wide onto the grass there, not the ideal line through the first chicane, but he has a decent chance here. He's 1.5 seconds behind, and he's there's plenty of laps left for him to catch up to 136, who is definitely struggling with his tyres more and more and more. The gap to Magic has gone up as well.
Yeah, and Donny shouldn't take too long to catch up with 136, and then we got another battle going on quite soon.
Well, let's look at the gaps. So Unite to the back of Twin Cam is 2.5 seconds, and Mantas to the back of Lagutskas is 3.8 seconds. So Mantas isn't making any more gains on Lagutskas. His tyres have just become a little bit too hot, and he's not really been able to turn those screws as much as he wants to. They have had to deal with a little bit of backmarker traffic. That's Gritch in the background, as well as Kirku in the very dark blue RB4 there, that these guys have had to navigate through. So that possibly is why the gap has gone up ever so slightly, Miika. That's possibly why it has.
Yeah, it could have been played one way or the other. I mean, both of them had to manage with those back markers here. But it seems like it's favored Lagutskas a bit here.
Yeah, indeed. We pick up with Nozzle, who's currently in P5. He's 10 seconds off the back of Kaike Parapo, who himself has had a fairly quiet race. And it looks as though Adam has been through the pit lane. It doesn't look like we saw that on the cameras, but his gap to P2 is 15 seconds. He hasn't been through the pit lane. That gap is enormous. That's the pace of the front two, Miika. So much so I thought Adam had done a pit stop. He's 15 seconds behind, 16 seconds now, in fact. So an absolutely enormous gap between P3 and the top two. So our podium has a span of something like 20 seconds now.
Yeah, and we can remember in the early stage, Twincon was P3 and he was following very close to Mantas. So I don't know if his penalty upset him a little bit or anything, but I wonder what he could have done if he didn't get that penalty to drive through.
Yeah, we pick up with 136 going across start finish. He's 1.3 seconds behind his closest competitor. That will be Magic, who he was fighting with earlier. But again, that gap has remained stable fairly consistently, and it's Donny who feels as though he might have an advantage now. Donny, remember, pitting quite early, didn't have a good qualifying session, qualified P21, very uncharacteristic, but that's the sort of thing that can happen in one-shot qualifying sessions. You only get one chance to do your best lap, and that's one of the nice features of a couple of leagues actually in Live for Speed. Have you ever competed in a series with a one-shot qualifying session, Miika? Is it something you've done before?
Yeah, I've done the Fox Fridays a couple times where they have one shot, and I got to admit I like it a lot because there's just one lap. Either you can go safe and sound and compromise not making just the best lap you can, or you can go full throttle and maybe end up in the back of the field like we have seen Niva and Donny going tonight.
Yeah, it adds an extra dimension of unpredictability to the qualifying format, because you can be fast and consistent in a qualifying stint or lap after lap, but can you do it? Can you do it one shot, straight out of the pit lane, one warm-up lap, go bang in a lap, and then pray that nobody else goes quicker? It's an exciting format. It keeps the suspense to the very end. It means qualifying can happen like this. You can have Donny, who is normally well up the field, trying to climb back up, and that breeds overtaking. It's a smart qualifying system. I do wish that more series would introduce it, as there's an error. Magic's gone straight through. Sorry, not Magic. 136 has gone straight through the tyre stack at the final chicane, and it's decided extremely late to pit. Yeah, I think his tyres have just got too hot, and that's just compromised his exit. He isn't changing them either, so he's going to have a difficult final 6 laps in this race, but losing a place in quite dramatic fashion there to Donny and RD2 actually, but I don't think RD2 has pitted. Has he? He has. So actually, yeah, all those drivers have pitted. So 136 losing 2 places there, completely unforced.
Yeah, that's very costly for him. That was a big mistake for sure. Now we just have to see if he can build in anything back from that, or if he will just have to yield and be good with the 12th place.
You're watching Sim Broadcast on Twitch and YouTube. We broadcast all sorts of Live for Speed content here on our channel. If you want to find out more, you can head to simbroadcast.tv, as we have 5 laps remaining in round 9 of Born to Race Turbo Cup Season 1 of 2023, and it's Lagutskas who leads by 3.3 seconds ahead of Born to Race Mantas. There is a void between these top two, who are in a completely different league today, Miika, because it is Adam who is 21.5 seconds off our leaders. Absolutely crazy. 18 seconds now behind P2 as well as he heads across start-finish. Well, Piroppo, he's 4.5 seconds. He has to make up somewhere in the region of a second a lap if he wants to get onto the podium. I've not been paying too close attention to his laps, but you know, these guys have still got to make a pit stop, so anything can happen at this point.
Yeah, anything is still possible. I got to admit, I expected a little bit tighter fight at the front. We got that more than 3 seconds between Lagutskas and Mantas, which is quite a bit between the top two. But also that huge gap to Adam on P3. I expected it to be less, but it is what it is, and we still have an exciting race going on.
Yeah, it's one of those more strategic races. We've seen Aston, like yesterday during the RTFR race, breed absolutely crazy hatchback racing in the NGT like Swell Sport 06 Cup. But tonight in the Turbo Cup, the TBOs just haven't given us that close wheel-to-wheel action lap after lap that we normally come to expect. So, you know, you win some, you lose some, but this has become more of a strategic race. And and also a race of just who's got the best flat-out pace. We're currently watching Storm, who's made his pit stop now, and he rejoins just behind Donny in P10 and Fairway ahead of RD2. So Storm has had a decent pit stop and looks like he's going to get a solid top 10.
Sorry to interrupt, but Mandas has just gone into pits. So now that's when we're going to see where the things are going to unfold from here.
Yeah, indeed. He's going to work.
Answer this by coming right next lap, or what will he do?
Yeah, no mistakes as well in the pit lane for Mantas. He drove through very, very calmly there and gets up to speed once again. Adam is coming up behind him, but look at that. He's absolutely nowhere near him. So Mantas and the Gutskas have got a pit stop over their closest rival. So they look pretty secure in their position, but of course, anything can happen. We still have seen crazier things in the past in LFS with 4 laps to go, 3.5 laps to go for Lagutskas. He has, 2 more trips past the pit lane before he has to come in for his final attempt to make a pit stop. But yeah, Adam looks pretty secure for P3, unless Kaike Piroppo can pull something out of the bag with only a handful of laps remaining. 3.8 seconds the gap. We'll get an update in a few corners' time.
Yeah, Piroppo could still have something to say about the third place, but he seems just quite a bit too far. He needs to build up his pace quite a bit to catch up Adam.
Yeah, Piroppo down to 3.7 seconds. We'll get an update at the sector line. I don't know if it's going to be enough to challenge for a place, but we can certainly try and hype up the excitement and maybe create a false sense of it here. The gap's coming down. It's coming down. It's just not coming down fast enough, I don't think, for Piroppo to cause any sort of upset to Adam's day. Nozzle, likewise, he's 12 seconds back, and then our top 6 is rounded out by Twincam, who... Well, he's definitely going for it in sideways fashion today, isn't he, Miika? He's definitely enjoying that four-wheel drive.
Yeah, he's had his moments, but actually we have Lagutskas at the pits right now. So let's see how this turns out. He should be all clear from Mandas. That's a quick stop and no mistakes done. So should be solid lead for Lagutskas, but let's see what the gap will be between him and Mandas.
Well, the gap is still enormous. I think it's going to be around about 5 seconds now, maybe 4. There he goes, just disappearing off the top of shot. We'll get a realistic update of the time after they both cross over Sector 1. The 9-second gap there is not representative of the actual gap between these two. But yeah, with 3 laps to go then, the Gutskas has made his stop. And then I don't know if there are many people left who still have to actually make a pit stop. No, everybody has made a stop except Nozzle. So Nozzle currently running in an inflated P5 then, and needs to come in to change. Doesn't need to do anything, does he? He just needs to come in and do a pit stop. He is right up the back of Adam. I believe that is that a lap? No,
yeah,
I think
must have a lap.
no, Adam's been through the pit lane, so that'll be why.
Yeah.
So Adam will be updated on our timing screens when he crosses over the next sector line. But yeah, he's done his pit stop now. That means Piroppo will drop down as well. Yeah, there we go. So Adam now registered in P3 again. And then we've got Nozzle and Piroppo. So yeah, Nozzle, he has 2 more opportunities to come in. He can come in on this lap or at the end of the next one. And that will be all of them.
For the fight of the lead, your guess about the 5 seconds was pretty close, since it seems to be 4.8 seconds. So Lagutskas still winning on that pit stop. Now, or actually now it's coming down to 4.5. But anyway, the gap grew up more than 1 second during that pit stop, so very good job from Lagutskas on that matter as well.
We're watching Unite, who is currently in P7. He's got a back marker behind him. That is not competition for him at the moment, but he has a 3-second gap, the same as Piroppo has, to the back of Adam. Unite has a gap of 3.2 seconds now to the back of Twincam. That gap's coming down quite quickly. Don't know if there's enough laps left for it to happen, but onto the penultimate lap goes Lagutskas. He's through turn 1. With Mantas in hot pursuit. They've got a back marker between them. It seems like everybody's spaced out by 3.8 seconds at the moment, Miika.
Yeah, actually I just made a notice that Mantas bumped up his fastest lap so far. So
yeah,
he's really trying to push it on the last 2 laps. He's gonna give it everything.
Yeah, he's pushing and he's doing PBs, but he's not getting anywhere close to Lagutskas' fastest lap of the race. Very impressive. That just shows you how hard these guys are pushing. It's not often that we see the top 2 run away with it so obviously, but today they have really shown the rest of the field where the pace is, and even Adam has struggled to keep up. So Piroppo going very deep there over the exit of the support pit lane here at Aston, and we'll see where he ends up. He's 1.9 seconds now behind Nozzle. Which is, if he's got the pace, it's close enough to do something if Nozzle has some tyre trouble. But yeah, let's wait until the next sector line to see if there's anything we can expect happening. Oh, he's gone really wide. He is also enjoying the 4-wheel drive
RB4. Did Nozzle do his pit stop yet?
Yes, he did. Hang on, did he? No, I don't think he did. I think he's going to do it on this lap.
Yeah. That's gonna drop him down a couple places. Yeah.
So yeah, really the gap is the fight is between Piroppo and Adam, but it's not really ever gonna come into anything because Adam's driving far too consistently for that at the moment. Let's see our final car come into the pit lane as Lagutskas goes over start finish to start the final lap of the race. Nozzle rounds the final corner and should stay over to the left. He does. Nobody is going to be picking up any penalties for forgetting to do their pit stop today. Well, very safely down to the limit there for Nozzle, and he will serve his mandatory pit stop. It's time to turn back our attention to this man, though, Miika. It's Lagutskas for Yes Motorsports, who has driven a perfect race so far. Only a handful of corners remain between him and the checkered flag and that gold medal. Let's watch him as he completes his final lap.
Not the first time that we see this kind of performance from Lagutskas. He's just being so consistent, track to track, car to car. Like, he can do anything. He's like very good with like different combos and such, and he's showing his true skill here by making another dominant performance. Mantas tried to give his best, but it's Lagutskas to take this one home.
Yeah, Lagutskas showing once again that the RB4 is king in Turbo Cup in certain scenarios, especially around Aston 22. He didn't have too much competition today. He had Mantas for company, but here we go. He's now pushing a little bit too hard to the end of this race. Through the final chicane he goes, and down towards the final complex of corners. Lagutskas going under the pseudonym of Lacunas today, as he usually does. We know him better as Vitatas Lagutskas, but round the final corner he comes. He's not quite going to put a lap on Stiefler, but Miika, take him to the line. What a performance that was.
Yeah, incredible job. I'm out of words to describe this man. He's just superb job. It's like race to race. He's there above the front. And Mandas, good second place here. Solid fight. He tried his best, but quite couldn't keep up with Lagutskas. And Adam with finishing up the podium places. Solid drive from him. There could have been Twincam on the P3 instead of him if Twincam didn't pick up the penalty. But it's Twincam's fault, and that's a good job from Adam.
Yeah, Kaike Piroppo comes across the line just off the podium. The gap did come down in the end, but only because Adam was showboating towards the end. Interestingly, the fastest lap for Adam and Piroppo was exactly the same in two different cars. They managed to do a 1 minute 58.23 apiece. Yeah, the star of the day is Lagutskas, who set the world alight with a 1 minute 57.66 fastest lap, 0.2 of a second faster than Mantas could manage in an XRT. Very, very impressive. The RB4 is not to be trifled with in the Turbo Cup. So if you're thinking of joining the series either next week or for the next round that we broadcast in July, then we do encourage that. That is a good idea as Nico Pantola starts to do some tandem drifting with Twincam in the background. We'll wait for a few more of the cars to come across the start-finish line before we run down the full order. Here is Lagutskas just sitting and waiting for everyone else to finish before he decides what he's going to do with the rest of his evening. But yeah, what a fantastic race we just witnessed. Here comes Rocket to the line, taking his time. Yeah, a decent result just outside the top 10 for him. He will finish in P11. In fact, no, registered there in P14, my mistake. And I don't know how many more cars we're waiting for here, but few more finishes there. I believe that is everybody. Yes, I think that is everybody. So, Miika, let's run down the full finishing order and talk about how this race went.
Yeah,
So there we go.
On the top, we got Lagutskas, as mentioned before. Super job running down also consistently through the race. No mistakes whatsoever. Mandas second place, keeping a good pace as well, but couldn't just match up with Lagutskas. Really not an eventful race for either of them. Third place goes to Adam. Solid job. He started fourth or fifth position, climbed up a couple places there just before Piroppo, who started P2 but fell down quite a bit. Followed by Twincam, who was P3 for a long time until he got a drive-through penalty for speeding on the pit lane. Then we followed by Unite. He was actually the fastest FXO driver today, and that's a very good job from him. Noslan 7th, Magic 8th, Donny 9th, and RD2 finishing up the top 10.
Yeah, over on the second column, we've got Born to Race Storm with Born to Race 136 miles per hour. Then Soini for World Class Lines did a brilliant job there, I have to say, Miika. P13 in the end. A few more overtakes from drivers doing pit stops around him, I think, but a good performance from Soini there.
Yeah, and impressed that he got one overtake that we just barely missed on the stream, but.
Oh, thanks for reminding me about that. Then it's Rocket.
Maybe next time.
Exactly. Rocket takes P14, SMT P15. Then it's Stiefler, Yari, Gritch, and Kirku 87. Unfortunately, DNFing after 7 laps was Furious M. Neva. That's Marcelo Neva, who qualified a little bit out of position. Then T-Bug, of course, he DNF'd pretty early on, and Yasin likewise only made it for a few laps. Lagutskas there, his fastest lap, a 1 minute 57.66. Absolutely blistering. Well, that is all we have time for this evening. But before we go, we need to remind you about the broadcast schedule that we have coming up for the Born to Race Turbo Cup series. Next time out, and on Wednesday, the 5th of July, we're going to be at an unknown combo because, of course, it's decided after each of the rounds, of which there are, how many is that? There are 3 rounds in between now and then. So if you feel like driving the turbos around in Live for Speed on a Wednesday evening, then you can join the Born to Race Turbo Cup, which happens every week. We are broadcasting the first round of every month. and it's been fun. I've certainly enjoyed my first one. I believe that Zdenek will be back for the next one. But I've enjoyed my stint in the commentary box here for this one, Miika.
Thanks for stepping in for Zdenek, and hope he'll be back as soon as possible. It's always exciting to commentate on these races. Usually a lot of stuff happening here. Today it was a little bit more strategic than usual, but it was still a very entertaining race, all in all.
Yeah, a little bit calmer than we were treated to yesterday, which I'm not complaining about. I have to say, yesterday was crazy. I recommend people go and check out the VOD for RTFR yesterday, but go and check out the VODs for the previous 2 Born to Race Turbo Cups as well on our channel, because they have been absolutely fantastic as well. Well, that was Aston Cup. That was round 9 of the B2R Turbo Cup on Sim Broadcast. We hope you enjoyed it, and we really look forward to seeing you at the next one. Miika, thanks very much for your company. Chris McElroy in the background helping us out with all of the pointing the cameras in the right direction as usual. And thanks everyone for watching. We hope you have a good one, and we'll see you very soon. We've got Fragmasters Fox Friday coming up on Friday, and the final round of Master Race Cars BF1 League Season 3 on Sunday. Have a good one. We'll see you then.